Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. On behalf of Italian Exhibition Group and our president, Lorenzo Cagnoni, I welcome you all to Vicenza Oro September 2019. Just a few words. You are here for TRENDVISION because trends are actually one of the pillars of Vicenza Oro. We think trends are very important for your business, so buyers, retailers, bloggers, journalists, they all need trends, because trends is the only way to have your own storytelling, your own key point of difference, and so all Vicenza Oro is built around giving to you inspiration to find your own trend, your own interpretation for the trends. So please listen to Paola and find your own way to interpret trends. Thank you so much, Paola, and thank you all.
Buongiorno. I don't know. Good morning. Is it working? Yes. Every time, believe it or not, buongiorno and good morning. Is it in English or in Italian today? Perfetto. So, believe it or not, every time I'm here, even though I'm doing it for many years, I'm always nervous. It's like, what am I going to say? I mean, I don't know. I mean, am I going to bore people or not? But so September in Vicenza is very important because in a way starts the new season. Even though it's ending 2018, it's really like the beginning almost of 2019, because that's how we work. We always work ahead of the time. We're already thinking on 2019, and today we are presenting 2020. Before I start today, I'd like to say a few words to, and thank you, to not only YEG, not only TRENDVISION, not only Marco Carniello, but I want to say thank you to my team, to Jessica Mazzi, which has been working with me for many years, and also the new team, Cecilia, Amy, David Broth, very important editor, international, the founder of Jewellery Outlook, some of very important, relevant people in our international team, which is helping to put together our report and our forecast. So if I'm proud of something, I'm proud that we have put together a methodology, a work that helps you, we hope, to really run your business. So when we talk about forecasting, and this is the debate and trends, the concept of trends is not, it's about macro trends versus what's trendy. And trendy, of course, are niche and emerging, things that you might find around and phenomenon. We approach business in a very scientific way that we hope we can bring to the table. What is the trend book? The trend book is not a solution, it's a way, it's a guide, it's a beacon strategy. It's a way of looking at the market and your business in a different perspective. When we analyze the market, we have three scapes. One is consumers. Who are our consumer? Who's our target? Before even walking the show, what are we looking at? Who are we buying for? I mean, who's our consumer? Age, psychographic, geography, positioning, translated into price point, branding. So as a designer, as a manufacturer, as a brand, who's our consumer? I am not a trendsetter, I'm not an influencer, I'm an analyst. What I try to do for you with our team is to really give you the tools, the instrument, the vision, the know-how and the structure to really view everything is around you with a different perspective. We are not bringing solution, we are bringing, we hope, stimuli, inspirations, ideas and concept to trigger your vision for your own company. So, just a little note that today, after this, I will do a book signing around 11:45, 12 at the bookshop, but also a little presentation, like a little bit more technical about how the book can be used and be explained. So I'll do something new, which is today at noon, and another one at 4 p.m., small groups of 8, 10, 12 people, where if you have questions and you want to know how you can use the book for your company, but also the system. It's not just, again, the book itself. The book is the beginning, an inspiration. Then you have to do your own trend book inside your company. So research, it's very important within companies. It's not just about trend vision. My dream, if I had a dream in my life, was to really bring culture in a world that seems very ephemeral, such as the world of luxury and jewelry. Jewelry translates society's changes. It's really a reflection of history. And at the end of the day, like 10 years from now, or 20 years from now, a jewel, an object that will represent this particular time in history will reflect our emotional value, our lifestyle, and who we are. So, if we have to start, and let me time myself so I know exactly how long I'm going to talk, so I cannot bore you. So let's jump in the seasons in 2020. It's like, oh my God, 2020. We are not even at the end of, we are September 2018. 2020 seems far away, but it's not. Because really in June next year, which is not even a year from now, in Las Vegas or even in Hong Kong, we are really presenting season fall-winter 1920. So jewelry are not like, it's something that is in theory here to last, even though you might have fast collections and the world of jewelry is getting closer to the world of fashion. But the truth of the matter is, it's very important to have a long-term vision. This is very important. So 2020, it's really echoing the beginning of the first 2 decades of the 1900. What happened in the 1900? Very briefly, the 1900 was a time of revolution or re-evolution, a time of change, arts, industrial revolution, cars, cinematography was starting. I mean, the beginning of last century was really parallel to our time today. And that's what's happening. I mean, you get the book and then you do your own research or your own research on what happened then, what are the parallelisms, and why is it important to really make a parallelism between the past and the present and then make projections for the future. Is because you can see the pattern, the cycle of patterns that they are happening in history, but historically, not only necessarily in a century, but within a year, within months, within a week. Even in trends, and by trend we don't mean trendy, there are cycles. If hoops are in and they're out, there is a cyclical time that you have to follow. So the 2020 today, what are we facing? Digital revolution is bringing phenomenon. Of course, we entered this era in the year 2000. But now we're starting slowly seeing effects. The effects are not only assimilating digital culture, but also already having a phenomenon such as wanting to detox from, for instance, technology. So there are many phenomena which are bringing. So human rights, at this time, we're back. I mean, we're going to see in a second how consumers are reflecting these changes. And let me recap, which are the very important points, because it's challenging to talk about important, relevant values in such a short period of time. And it's challenging because sometimes I would like to transmit many informations, but sometimes when there are too many, you might end up with nothing. So I have to be very cohesive, and maybe I will tell a little less. Maybe you'll go to the bookshop and get the book, but as long as I can leave you with few concepts that you can take to the next level yourself. So the issues they're reflecting really these consumers and who we are, consumers in society, are political changes, very important. And we're going to see how political changes are affecting also jewelry and collection, not only at the purchasing level, but unconsciously on a taste level. So political changes, migration, women's rights, men, gay rights, everything is changing very strongly. There are it's kind of a new wave almost that was maybe in the 70s happening, but also in the 20s. I mean, they were like, at that time, they were like human rights for like Negroes, Harlem Revolution. They were called les années folles because of in Paris. At that time, in the 1920s, Deco started. It was a mix of cubism and fauvism, a mix and a blend of many apparently contradictory styles. This is happening now. Everything, it seems very in contradiction. The truth is, we are conceiving the new modern. What's modern today? Is it genderless? What is what? What is modern? So this is the truth. The second important point of consumer of society is spiritualism. Spirituality is really what is driving society, which is apart from religion that often creates wars and debates. It's really associated to politics. So spirituality is a very important point. And we'll see how these elements of spirituality are really emerging strongly also in jewelry, with talisman, with elements, with objects that we call, or basically we are trying to follow. Could be the stars, could be the moon, could be something from exotic and far cultures. Could be from mythology, because I'm seeing now Mr. Cosimo Vinci walking in with the tiara. And then the third important point is also physical. What is the line? What is the blur between reality and digital? But also, what is the local and global? Now the new word is multi-local. What does it mean, multi-local? It's like Lauren being in Paris and feeling local as well in London. So being multi-local is living a local life around the world. It's a new way. I've been living multi-local all my life without even knowing it. Now there is a word for it. So this is very interesting. And then the fourth, maybe, but is in a way, it's like the common denominator is the concept of physical and digital together. It's like this really concept of, it's not even physical anymore. It's not about even being multicolor. It's like recoding, rethinking, re-engineering everything. So, getting now into what is just touching a little bit of what's happening from a socio-cultural, perspective, and now we are going then to touch into jewelry. Let's talk about, let's just touch about a couple of emerging phenomena. Now, very important, how do we identify emerging phenomena and why one area versus another one? Number one of the important scapes that we're looking at is, arts, culture, cinematography, what is relevant. If one particular movie wins Venice Festival or Hollywood, there is a very important meaning. We have to go beyond that particular just title or movie, like The Shape of Water or La La Land. I mean, what does it mean? How do you decode that kind of, it's like musical were back or are back. That's retro, okay? So I'm giving you a perspective, that's retro. The previous year was 1950s, La La Land was 50s. Last year was like, 1940s. Now we are exploring decades. Now, you might say, well, what does it have to do with jewelry? No, it's very important because the dressing, the lighting, the perspective, the filtering into like maybe an imaginary darkness or a modern darkness, a little strange and mysterious, a little dangerous, a little weird, the unknown. I mean, there are many codes, and then next thing you know, you see studs, and you see weird bugs, and you see imaginary faunas and mysterious. It's like, in a way, they're reflecting. It's not by coincidence that certain things happen. So one important thing that is emerging, the buzzword is being for the last few years, millennials, 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 and millennials are here, okay? But there is Gen Z, but also there is also this, let's call it advanced style, or what we call the middle, which is a little, younger than the middle. It's like, if millennial ends at 35, 38, what about the 40s and the 55? Are they what, dead? I mean, you see models with white hair. All of a sudden, mature women are big. Accidental icon, Lynn Slater, being a blogger, very big in the US, becoming worldwide. There are many, let's say, mature women that they are claiming a new life. It's like, enough with being old at 50 or 60. I'm not dead. I'm going to live up till I'm 90. Look at Iris Apfel. Irene Apfel, she's not following any fashion. She's making fashion just by being confident, just by being herself. She's a new icon. She's a monument of style and femininity and creativity. So that's a new perspective, and the reason why we are touching to this type of consumer is because now the niches are huge. We got millennial, then we got the youngest, which are Gen Z, and then we have the middle, which is like me basically, like my generation, which is X, X. And then there is the teenagers, the senior teenager, people that they're like old and they say, you know what, I want to be punk. I'm Vivienne Westwood, it's like, now maybe not to that extreme, but what I'm saying is that translates into collections. That translates into people that they have all jewelry possible and they're collecting one-of-a-kind pieces or theatrical pieces or conversation pieces because for them it's art to wear. So now your portfolio of consumers changes and is very interesting. So that's why that's why we start from consumers and phenomena, because when you are on a retail floor and you have to sell whatever collection from Antonini to whoever, Picchiotti or whoever is right here, it doesn't matter who they are, or an incredible emerging designer, who's your consumer? What do they want? How are they dressed? What are their visual codes? You have to talk their language. Now, what is the new language? What is the Esperanto of the third millennium? Images. Images. Photography. Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, but more than anything is Instagram, and everything is related. WeChat in Asia, or Line, whatever. We are communicating through images. The concept of what is the storytelling now is shifting into story making. I'm making my history. I am my brand. I am Paola De Luca. But I'm not an influencer, I'm just me. You have to be you. So create your own language. That's very important. What is your own language? Is it eating sushi or just being at a restaurant? Is it being at the runways? Is it just being with your cat and pets? That's your story. You're making your own story. And that becomes your windows in the world. Web hunting is very important. Start looking at social, not in a passive way, in an active way. You want to know what people want? Go on socials. You want to know what people's value are? Check out the hashtags. And hashtags are divided into social movements, silhouettes, color, aspirational concepts. That's how we view socials. So start being a forecaster yourself by being active and not passive. That's what I'm here for. I'm not here to tell anything. There is no secret. It's just a perspective. So another important point is these things of blurring the line of luxury, complete uncommon looks, asymmetrical. But what does it mean asymmetrical? Why asymmetrical? It's about breaking the rules. It's about gender fluid. It's about really like when I said political, but what do you mean political? Oh my God. It's like people is not following rules anymore. We need rules. I mean, don't take me wrong. I don't believe in chaos, but we are breaking the old rules of politics, of what's right, of the way we have to be dressed, of the way we have to interact between sexes, of the way we have to live our work life. We are rewriting the present for the future based on our past. It's always about past, present, and future. That's why the trilogy was so successful. It's about these three important concepts: past and present and future. So from the past, we get inspiration and stimuli from our archive of memories and really value. But then we take it to the next level. When people think, well, things are going back, things are coming back, they're never coming back. The past is gone. We are taking from the past and we are taking it always to the future, but with the awareness of the present. Now, of course, not all of us in our daily routine, in our walking around, are always active in our thoughts, in our awareness of things the way they happen. We just are, going in our routine every day, but the truth is, things are happening regardless. We have power if we detach and we see it and we view it. So, blurring the line of luxury, what was beautiful before, now there is a new beauty. The beauty is imperfection, or I am perfect, or imperfection. It depends from the perspective. Christina Aguilera, do you remember, she used to say, I'm beautiful. And the video was about imperfection and being not exactly following the route of classic beauty. And what is classic beauty today? Now the new models have issues, or maybe beauty, because they're unique. And this uniqueness and imperfection is in stones, and inclusion, and in organic finishes, and in textures, and imperfection, because enough with homologation. So these are how, collections are sold individually. It's not about matching collection anymore. You're gonna go around, now earrings are sold individually. You have 3 earrings or 4 earrings in one ear. So you wear different earrings, and the other ear maybe you wear an ear cuff, and an ear cuff comes from ethnic or local cultures that could be Indian or could be African, and they are reinterpreted by contemporary designers from maybe the other side of the world, that they view it completely in a different way. What is considered bridal jewelry in India, now all of a sudden someone in Africa or someone in England review it and change it and makes it completely different. That looks like there is an but really is morphing into something extraordinary. So let's get into what is called the panorama. And so I just touched a couple of points of what are the emerging phenomena. Of course, the section is more interesting. You guys, I hope that you will stop by the trend shop, the bookshop, sorry, and check out the new book. But let's talk about the panorama. In order to project the future, you need to know what's happening today. So, beside the fact that we are talking about consumer and we are giving you a perspective of how we are viewing trends, then we have to talk about the market. Today, we are in Vicenza. That's where we are investing. We are investing into design culture. It's not just about design culture. Cosimo Vinci, salve, la saluto, altrimenti I'm saying hello to a friend, sorry. I like sometimes to break, to make a little bit of human empathy, not just being serious. So in order to know about the future, you need to know what's happening today. So emerging trends, technology, silhouettes are very important. So we divide, let's say we categorize the market into jewelry, watches, and diamonds, even though, of course, all of that could be considered jewelry in a way, but of course, diamonds has a specific, market, unique market. We'll touch a couple of, trends, emerging trends on each categories. Of course, there are more, but we just touch. One is, what we call LinkedIn. Now we give name. Not necessarily you have to follow the names. It's not important. You can call anything you want, but at the end of the day, it's important. So, of course, LinkedIn, which is echoing, of course, a social network in this particular case. So in a way, we are playing with that to suggest how digital culture is important. But digital culture, we do not mean just owning a smartphone and posting a couple of images on Facebook. When I talk about digital culture, is assimilating this world, this metaphysical world, into our life, which includes also doing business online. Could be either networking, communicating your brand, or being an omni-channel brand or designer or whatever, meaning selling, distributing, communicating omni-channel. So our, let's say, media channels become omni-channel. So that's why we are pushing this, because even though we think we are in the third millennium, many companies still, they don't have a website, or they don't know how to use it. They don't understand how, well, I don't have time for socials. Well, I don't have time for that. I don't know how to do it. Well, that's part of being part of the third millennium. Creating a beautiful earring, creating a new beautiful innovation, and not being able of communicating it, it's a waste, basically. So LinkedIn, it's very much, in Italy, because of Italy and because of chain making and engineering and technology, of course Vicenza has a very strong market and assortment for this kind of direction. Nothing is like it is and like it seems. There are great evolution, nanotechnology, chains and layering, and also small light pieces to be collected and layered by the consumers. Pieces are sometimes multicolored, but the objective is really what I want to say, lightweight, because the objective is to purchase many and mix and match it by the consumer. It's about self-expression. Jewelry that can be kind of collected as a wardrobe by the consumer are very important. There could be rings that you individually wear on your toes, either down or up, or many earrings. Things that you can mix and play, and they are not necessarily too expensive, because the vision is to buy many of them and play with them as components to express your mood and your personality. But then there are also the other direction, which is extreme, is maximalism. But minimalism in this particular case and maximalism, they are not in contradiction, they are actually complementary. The green continues to be very strong, the green, which is not necessarily only the emerald and the tourmaline, but the malachite. And I would actually get to the next level, semi-precious and matte stones, or stones that they have imperfection, inclusions. That could be amber, that could be any other stone that kind of has a trace of history, of strata. That's very valuable, that's interesting. It's something that is precious. Then of course we have best silhouettes and charts, which you can see in the trend book. Same, there are zoom on details, so it's very important. As you can see, you see pearls very strong. Once again, the inclusion, but let me jump into, and once again, diamonds, the self-purchasing diamonds, the fashion diamonds are still very sleek, whimsical. There is a new evolution of hoops and stiletto. Even here, there is a lot of asymmetry, meaning non-symmetrical collections, but also the evolution in style of deco. We were talking about deco. Deco is not new. I'm saying deco forward, re-deco is continuing. But again, why don't you go back and really search, and that's where I trigger your creativity. What was deco? How deco started? And if you really start searching or Googling or browsing, deco was a mix of many directions. It's not a coincidence that if you go around, I was recently in London, and some designer, they're like, kind of, in a way, getting inspired from Art Nouveau. And Art Nouveau, but it's a new Art Nouveau, it's a new Lalique inspired flora. It's a little mysterious, it's a little dangerous, it's a little dark, almost like the shape of water in the monster, something a little weird. So there is an exploration of that particular time, because we are recoding, redesigning, and getting new inspiration. So let's take it to the next level. In this particular case, whatever is soft geometries and evolution, architectural inspired. Then here, of course, there are some direction on bridal, which I'm not going to touch on it, but you're going to come to the shop. And also, watches, of course, beside the mechanical part and the tourbillon and all that, also, as you can see, watches are in a way kind of echoing what we are saying about nature, about artistic inspiration, op art or optical illusion, or opcoding like we call it, are being, started in the 60s and was really about optical illusions. Now the optical illusions are digital optical illusion. It's no longer just graphic, but it's really like the random playing of, again, the digital world. But let's go to really what I've started when I was talking to you about, what are the values that are really changing. We talked about politics, we talked about spiritual value, we talked about being multi-local with the dualistic traveler. We're talking about the phygital, and we're talking also about the disruptive, the man. But man is not a category on its own. It's just like, it's kind of unusual. It's really breaking the rule. It's really the innovation. It's like man, yes, there are like the new, let's call it, women rights and the new movement, but there is also a men's right. It's not about women against men. It's about balancing the gender in society. In the gender fluid world, we still have some issues, and the issues are between genders, between, culture, between religion, between, what's a race, what's not, blending, mixing. So that is happening also, of course, with men. And again, there are new values, not the old value. So getting into what we call the soft power is really the intellectual rebel, and about all these changes, whatever it's happening politically, there are new ways of really telling, making the point. So in this world of, and I'm not going to touch into the value because you can buy the book, and so you can go deep and get it to the next level. Again, the trend book is the beginning of. It's you being able to capture some inspiration and meaning and making it part of your mission in your company. Sometimes you might not even, might just want to know, and then you have your own mission already. You don't have to follow anybody. We just inform. Like Jennifer at Inudadi, she has her own agenda on jewelry. She already has. She's already doing, you're doing it already. Human rights, women. You don't have to thank me, that's the truth. It's an example. I'm not doing you a favor. I need you, I need you as an example so people can check out, And so in this particular case, movements, shaped expression, and can pop. So, for instance, we were talking about women's rights. There is a new, for instance, concept of power dressing. In the 80s and early 90s, women, for instance, they were like wearing shoulder pads, and they were in a way borrowing elements from men's wardrobe. Once again, it's happening, but it's a more feminine. We are wearing lingerie and lace and sheer dresses, and we are playing with our femininity, wearing a trench coat or a jacket. We don't want to look like a man. We are happy to be a woman and to flirt, but in a professional way when we are in business. So there are new ways. We want to make the same salaries of the men, of course, even though we still don't make it, but we still want to look pretty and attractive without, being, having someone maybe making a move in business on us because they hear what we're saying, not just looking at the way we do. Even though we want to look pretty, it's kind of very, what is the line? It's very blurred. The same for men. Men want to be attractive. They want to wear a yellow jacket like Mr. Alessio Boschi. Not everybody can carry it, of course, Alessio. But, that's the truth. I mean, it's like men are wearing jewelry and they're comfortable more and more, and they're wearing diamonds and they're wearing pearls, but not everyone has, Mr. Antonini. So, and in this world of the let's call it new power dressing, of course, metal and diamonds and this world, but very sleek, very chic, very sophisticated, very understated, very Milanese, I would say, if I have to borrow because Mr. Antonini is on the floor. In this world of steel, of this soft power brings can pop. So palette of colors, very important, could be enamel, could be gemstones, could be inlay of semi-precious, but very soft and very romantic. We are seeing it on the in the accessories already, and we are seeing it in a strong coming back of soft palette, really kind of to bring some sweetness in this environment. The second, and now I am going back to really say what I said at the beginning. The first is political, spiritual. Spiritual is part of, you know, society, like the need of spirituality, of really, but spirituality in the sense of, you know, in this world of medias and social media and communicating, we are lonely. There is a very important element. There is a sitting of lonely. People is always on media, but they are really alone. They are not interacting. We are not communicating. There is this search for spirituality. That could be yoga. That could be being in nature. That could be communicating. And all these things is like, we have mala, jewelry, yoga, jewelry being talisman. There is a new way of really being attracted to this sense of spirituality. Is for everybody something else. Could be silence, could be nature, could be, but these things of spirituality. And definitely the East meets West is very important. We are borrowing, you know, codes from our Asian friends, you know, cultures. Could be China, could be India, could be Japan, and they are mixing and becoming something else. In this world of nature, we have seen that bugs are continuing. We had butterfly, you know, for a while, but of course we are seeing, and you saw the wonderful campaign that Stephen Webster is doing, gorgeous campaign on bugs and weird bugs and spider. Now the bugs are less pretty. They are dangerous. They are a little, you know, weird, you know? That's a new bug. The new bug has an edge. The new bug, it's a robot. The new bug, it's not cute. And it's not really a bug. It's a robot. It's decoding, it's recoding, it's re-engineered. It might fall apart, might be a toy, okay? Look at the catwalk. We had robot on the catwalk. We had Prada, you know, 2 days ago in Milano, where they mix fluor and industrial nylon with ribbons. Everything is reinterpreted, and so are bugs and nature. And in this panorama of bugs, we got from before, I told you that this one in particular is like, it's inspired by, you know, Deco, Art Nouveau, but also there are, you know, again, the new bugs. Now, we were talking about Asia, this Asia world, or actually Deco, this Asian Deco, it's very interesting, particularly Chinese Deco from Shanghai and Hong Kong. Very interesting. I see, you know, our colleague from there, you know, on the floor. Very interesting. It's morphing. It's very modern. It's almost, you know, it's very elegant. Very elegant. The third, and we were talking about the dualistic traveler. We were talking about this multi-local, which is not glocal. It's not like, you know, think global, act local. In a way it is, but it's like, you know, I have 5 cities. I mean, I'm in Mumbai, I feel at home. I'm in Hong Kong, I have my own spots. In New York, I know I have my bagel shops. You know, I am in Bologna, I go to, there's everywhere I got my stuff, you know, it's home in a way. And when I'm there, I'm not a tourist, I'm a local. I always go to the same spots. I like to have my gym in Hong Kong. I go to Pure, I do yoga there, you know. I mean, you know, Causeway Bay, I'm always there. I like to be there. I'm not moving. I like my hotel, I'm there. I live there, that's my home. You know, that's the new the traveler. The traveler wants, you know, roots wherever he is. He's in London, I live there. And it's very important to have that. And then he's creating these needs of, you know, again, how is it translating into, you know, the collections? I mean, there is this thing of you know, this texture, for instance. We were talking about gemstones and inclusions. Everything has some kind of history, something that is being found on either at the beach or a flea market, something that is captured but is being completely reinterpreted. And so we have rural visionary, trouvaille, and then we have metaflora. Let's just touch base very quickly on this world of, you know, I want to use the word charms, but we should create a new word for charms, because it's a little bit old world. I don't know, but basically whatever is, you know, found and again, mixed, but also reinvented. But this element I want to say of retro or, you know, kind of retro and vintage, which are different things, because vintage is more like just, let's also do a little research, you should do it. Historical is like prior to the 1900. Retro is the early maybe 1920 up to the 40s and 50s. After the 50s, the 60s and the 70s, vintage. Vintage started in the US when celebrities were starting, like Julia Roberts and others, you know, they were using archive pieces from Valentino or Versace, because they didn't want to use the actual collections, so they were going back. So that's how vintage really became popular. It's not something that just came recently. So now this whole thing of Reese online and selling the Yves Saint Laurent and all these collections, it's not new. It actually started, you know, in the 80s. It's actually, when I was 14, I was buying used clothes, I'm honest, because I wanted to change every other week, and I was buying, you know, I was going to flea market, and then I would cut the pieces and I would mix it. My mom would think I was crazy, but I was doing it already. So it's not really new, honestly. Just now, I don't want to give too many descriptions, be too literal, but as you can see, pearls and all unusual elements are very, you know, pearls will continue to be very popular, either the South Sea or Baroque or, you know, whatever, but continue to be very popular. Now, metaflora. The metaflora actually is very interesting because we've seen also a lot of flowers and what we call metaflora, giant pieces that they are morphing and they're colored in metals and tone on tone, unusual combination, even here, soft palette. But also flowers for men. That's when we were talking about gender fluid. Men are borrowing elements from women's wardrobe and vice versa. Bubble, the digital. So this world, it's of course the most futuristic, the most forward. We have associated what we call optical gap. We are associating digital psychedelia and mapping bright. Just very quick. We have talked about this earlier, not today, but this upcoding, this black and white, these digital illusions that could be created by 3D design in combination with special, with gemstones and I mean, pave. This black and white, this evolution, or let's call it recoding of this digital illusion is very important. Of course, it started and it's continuing in black and white, but some companies in fashion, for instance, they are adding fluo colors, bright colors. They are creating an impact, color blocking. And in this world of bright color, I was mentioning Prada, using and mixing feminine material, feminine element to fluo, yellow, orange, green, black. So it's very strong. Now read the codes of the runways and translate it and see what's happening on the floor. It's very important. So this color that they're really reflecting a digital palette. As you can see, the digital palette and the codes could be special finishes, could be nanotechnology, could be opals. And then, as we mentioned, the disruptive, the man. But man is not on its own. It's actually reflecting all of this direction, the political changes, the spirituality, the physical and digital, but at the end he's doing it his own way. As women are, claiming the new femininity and the new rights, man is doing the same. It's no longer about machismo like in the past, but is a more reflexive man. It's ahead of the market. It's more feminine compared to what the market is thinking of men. That's why the manufacturers are kind of forced to look to develop men's jewelry for men. I'd like to remind that in different cultures, men, like in India or in China, but even in the Renaissance in this part of the world, men were wearing jewelry. Either they were rings or pendants. They were like a sign of course, power, of social status. So pearls are worn in China. I saw beautiful men wearing pearls rings. And in India wearing, gemstones, emerald or ruby, but from centuries. It's nothing new. So now the material are mixing. They're becoming more interesting, of course. As you can see, we are showing how men are wearing diamonds. Could be, black, could be spinel, could be brown, also white diamonds. In wedding bands, men, they've been already since, few seasons now, the men are wearing one diamond in the wedding bands. But also pearls. We are seeing, pearls, gray pearls associated to leather for men, and more is in development. Now, jewelry for men are also, remember that the layering is very important. Men are wearing jewelry next to their watch. That could be a traditional watch, or could be a smartwatch. But basically, all jewelry, especially women, but also men, it's about styling, associating, layering. Men are expressing more and more their personality. So, I actually end my presentation. I hope I didn't bore you. I will have 2 moments, one at noon, if you come to the shop, for book signing, and we're going to have like a very short, if you have some questions, we can have it there, and another one we had at 4 p.m. today. I wish you a wonderful fall, winter, getting ready for 2019, and I thank you. It's an honor to always have you on the floor. Thank you.